In this video, I want to share with you how you can get business credit approvals despite a pandemic, despite the election that's going on. And we just had two approvals that came through that I was really excited about and said, hey, let me share this message with my audience, with you awesome people out there. So one of the first approvals that we got was from a local bank here in New Jersey, actually located in Trenton, for a $20,000 business credit card. And the other one is for an approval for a $50,000 business line of credit. And what's really cool about this is that, just shooting the feed out to Facebook. What's really cool about this is that when like everything started happening with the pandemic and everything started happening with like the election and all that and all this political uncertainty and all the stuff that's going on in Facebook and in the world and the community and all that, people kept asking me, like, are banks lending? Are banks lending? Are banks lending? And there's two ways, things that we implemented that I think you guys could learn a lot from, that I want you to kind of focus on. And these are two things that we implemented that helped us a lot in finding banks that offer no doc business credit cards and no doc business lines of credit, and that are still getting approvals, despite whatever the heck is going on in the world. So the first thing is that we work with local community banks and credit unions. Local community banks and credit unions, a lot of important reasons why we're able to get money from them. One of which is that local community banks and credit unions, they make their own decisions in-house, locally. So they're not as affected by some of the national macro things that are happening throughout the country. They're more of kind of in their own little local community, right? More on the micro scale. Secondly, these banks have in-house underwriting, and the two approvals that we just got today, there's a $20,000 business credit card, no doc, that means no tax returns are required, and the $50,000 no doc business line of credit, no doc again, no tax returns are required. The way that we got those approvals were from our relationship with the point of contact at the bank. So I would argue that at the bank, we had an advocate, someone that's hungry for business, that's hungry for referrals, that wants to see things go through, that has a mutual interest in your business credit application. And it's because of that relationship we have with the bankers, these two bankers, that the approvals came through. Whereas if you compare that to, like if you were to work with like a national bank, for example, you're not going to get that customized personal attention, number one. And number two, even if you did get that type of attention, it's not like they can go knock on the underwriter's door and advocate for your approval or answer any questions or things like that. So you're really not getting as personalized of an experience. So that's one thing. That's one of the main tips of how we're able to get money, business funding, business credit, unsecured business credit cards, lines of credit, despite the pandemic, despite the election, despite the uncertainty. There are banks that are saying we got to see what's going to happen. Okay. But you still got to find a way to like adjust, adapt, pivot, and move forward. And that's one of the big tips. So the second thing that I want to share with you guys is that a lot of the information that we're able to gather is basically crowdsourced. Okay. So what I mean by that is we started this company, Business Credit Workshop, in 2008. Okay. So that's 12 years. Which, man, that really flew by pretty fast. And, business really took off about 5 years ago and whatnot. And since that time, we have over 1,800 clients. Now, to some people, that might sound like a lot. To some other businesses, you might think that's nothing. But what it does mean is that, I think it's good. But what it does mean is that we have a whole bunch of clients that we can kind of crowdsource information from, right? Because I can only do so much. But with the power of 1,800 clients behind us, we can learn so much more than we can alone, right? That's why we have an awesome Facebook group, where we're all sharing and collaborating great information. And that's why I love the fact that we have different programs, including coaching programs and our BCW online program, things like that, because we're communicating with each other and we're talking with each other about, hey, what's working, what's not working, what banks are working, what banks are not working. I just gave a list to one of my clients in Nevada. She's going to work that list. We did the interviewing, we found the banks. Now she's going to go out there. I'm in Jersey. She's in a whole other state, right? So how do I get banks over there? She's going to reach out to those banks. She's going to meet with the local point of contact. She's going to see what programs they have, verify the information that we have and share that information with us. We have other clients in that same state, so they're going to benefit from that information. So you could either kind of create your own crowdsourcing platform, right? Of lots of people that are applying for business credit, and just kind of keep your finger on the pulse and see what's working, what's not working. Or obviously you could work with us. We already have all that set up. We already have the clients set up. We have people applying every single week for business credit. So as soon as something happens or doesn't happen, we know, and everyone that's in my community shares that information, whether it's through me. Like the second I got the 2 approvals this morning, I already emailed 3 of my clients. I'm like, hey, you need to go apply for these 2 banks, right? So that would be the other way that you could do it, is simply link up with a company like ours who has the database of banks, who has the clientele, and we're crowdsourcing the information. We're going to look out for each other. We're going to support each other. If you want to learn more about how to join our community, you can go to bcwcoaching.com. BCW's Business Credit Workshop, right? So bcwcoaching.com. You could check out a case study of how we helped a client get over $500,000 in unsecured business credit without having to walk into a bank. He actually did it within 30 days. You could check all that information out at bcwcoaching.com, and then you could chat with us if you want to see about working together. You could do a consultation as well and all that. So those are the 2 tips that I wanted to share with you. Number 1, work with local community banks and credit unions. As you drive about your day, as you drive around, make sure you write down any local community banks, credit unions that you may have never even heard of. Call them, network with them, meet with them. A lot of times your approval is based on your rapport with that bank, and you're not going to be able to get that same experience with some of the larger national banks. And then secondly, whether it's through our community or our service or through your own network, love networking, crowdsource information, talk with other people, find out what's working, what's not working, who's lending, who's not lending. Obviously, if you want to do that with us, you just go to bcwcoaching.com, and we'll accelerate the whole process, because I've already set up that entire ecosystem for you. So I'm going to see if there's any questions and whatnot. Let's see, how do I do that? Let's go to the feed. Who's on with us today? Wow, cool, good people. All right, let me mute my speaker thingy. Okay, we do have, who's on with us? So Sonia asks, let me mute my speakers. It's gonna get all double loud and all that. And whatnot. Here we go. All right, so Sonia, thank you for the question. Sonia, shout out, thank you for watching, appreciate you. She asks, when you say no, doc, does it matter how long the business has been established? Also, do you need a certain business credit score? That's a really great question. So the first half of your question is, does it matter how long the business has been established? When you're applying for a business credit card, typically your company could be brand new. It doesn't really matter. When you're applying for a business line of credit, in a perfect world, your entity would be at least 2 years or older. So the years in business does matter. Seasoning does help a lot. It doesn't mean that you can't get business lines of credit if you're under 2 years. There's actually a lot of techniques we teach inside of our course on what you can do in that situation. But it does mean that you're going to have the easiest time if you are 2 years or older. So that's a really good question, Sonia. And business credit cards, again, doesn't really matter as much as far as the seasoning. Do you need a certain business credit score? So what I teach, and this is the process that we teach again inside of our course, is that you want to, the answer is yes, you should have built up your business credit profile prior to applying for business credit cards and business lines of credit. So one of the services that we use is called NAV. NAV is N-A-V. Okay, so we use NAV. It's a business credit monitoring service that allows us to track and monitor your business credit score. And if you get the top tier plan with NAV, it's a business loan builder. It's about $49.99 a month. This is kind of cool. I can see myself, seeing myself. Why not have fun with it, right? This is the GoPro, by the way, and it is very fun. So if you go to nav.com and you grab your grab an account with them, and what you want to do is get the business loan builder program. It's about $49.99 per month, right? What it allows you to do what it does for you is it builds up your business credit score for you, so that not only are you tracking and monitoring your business credit score, but now your business credit score is getting boosted by NAV themselves. So yes, you do want to have a good business credit score. You do have NAV top tier plan. Awesome, you already have that. That's good. And it will help boost up your business credit score. There's obviously a lot of other things that you could implement to boost up your business credit score. Again, if you want to work with us, you can go to bcwcoaching.com. You can check out all the information that we have to share about that. Sierra asks, are you setting it up where you don't have to PG when you refer to the banks? You do have to PG. You do have to personally guarantee the business credit. The reason it's so important, the reason that's so relevant is if you're not giving any financials, no bank statements, no tax returns, no asset, no collateral, because it's unsecured, you have to give the bank something, right? I wouldn't give someone $100,000 if not willing to personally guarantee they're going to pay me back, right? So now if you say, hey, my business is established, I got $100,000 a month in deposits and all that, and you want to show tax returns or financials or bank statements, or you have collateral, then you could talk about ways to avoid the personal guarantee, the PG. But if you're looking for unsecured and no doc business lines of credit, PG is required. Personal guarantee is required, which means you do have to guarantee the bank's going to get paid back. But the business credit card and the lines of credit that we got approved for today do not show up on your personal credit report. So if you max them out, hypothetically, it's not going to actually hurt your score. Isn't that cool? You have high debt to income ratio on my business credit score. Does not matter. Right now, the only bank I know about that's really all up